I've never regretted busking. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you always win, you always gain something out of it. Like you always learn something, or you improve something, or you be like, okay, that little bit worked in that song, or like you figure out something, or just someone gives you a compliment, you're like, cool. Like, says like, I really like that song, and it's like a song that you didn't think was a good song. Or
counting the grains of sand upon the beach, somehow that number is always out of reach. How can I tell you?
Welcome to the Musician Secrets podcast. Today I have singer-songwriter Ben Camden with me. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you came all the way from Australia.
Yeah. The wonders of the internet. It's good.
Yeah, Sue makes it all possible. So thank you so much for taking the time and chatting with me. I reached out because I heard your song someday. Yeah. Some or same day. Someday. I think
someday.
It's, I know your entire vibe is just like really like chill and just, but also like kind of fun. It's not like, it has that good combination between the both, and like very, I don't know, it's a really cool, I looked on your Instagram and you said like a tropical folk vibe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't know. The ukulele's always kind of, I think it's such a happy instrument. If you sort of bring that into the mix, you can't, I know it's pretty hard to make it sad with a ukulele.
Yeah. That's true. It's very that's a challenge. Make a sad song with the ukulele.
Actually, yeah, I did. I think I nearly got there, but I know it's still happy. Yeah.
It's very fun to listen to, for sure. So we'll deep dive into all of that in a minute. But I always start out with introduce yourself for people that don't know who you are. Where are you from? I kind of gave that away already, but where are you from? What got you into songwriting, and basically your journey from start to where you're now.
Okay. Well, my name is Ben Camden. I guess I call myself a singer-songwriter. I've been playing guitar since I was 13, 14, and then the ukulele came, I don't know, I feel like not long after. So I don't know, maybe 15, I had a ukulele, and that was just, I guess, always part of my playing. And writing songs kind of, I think I was writing songs before I could play songs. I think that was a sort of, that I think for me, it was like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start writing songs now. I think I was always writing songs, but I never took them seriously. I'd write songs in school about sort of just, I don't know, trying to impress girls, or like trying to make the teacher laugh or something like that. I just sitting there doing silly things. And I think it wasn't until I left school. So after I finished school, I moved to Fiji. So the day after school finished, I went over there, and I was sort of living and working over there for a little bit, not too long, but enough to be like making decisions with music that I wanted to be writing music. And that's where I first started to write songs and be like, okay, I'm going to actually write a song instead of just a little something that rhymes. Like, I'd write like 20-second snippets, like 3 lines or 4 lines of a song, and that'd be it before that. So I was actually, okay, I'm going to write a song that's got a chorus and a structure and everything. So yeah, I think Fiji was always kind of part of my childhood. I spent my dad worked there a lot, so I spent a lot of time there growing up, and had the opportunity to move there after school. And like you were saying, the fun kind of stuff, I think that kind of comes through with music over there. It's all very chilled and fun. I think you don't take it too seriously. And I think that's sort of been something that's sort of stuck with my songwriting since then. Just trying to keep it fun. And I don't know, I feel like I go in cycles where I start getting serious and writing, serious love songs, or, serious heartbreak songs or whatever. And then I sort of will come back into a cycle of just writing silly songs, and they always end up being the better ones. So
yeah, that's cool. Has there, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. You go.
No, no, was there like a turning point where you said, okay, you know what, music is the way to go? Like, was that in Fiji, or was it already earlier, or
Yeah,
where
I
was
guess. Yeah, it was early on. I think when I the first time I like picked up a guitar, I was like, I want to do this. Like that was it was sort of one of those moments. I think before that, I guess I was like 13, but before that, I was just running around outside kicking a ball and just wanted to play. I was like, losing sleep over which sport I would represent Australia for.
uh,
All these things. I was just like, I don't know, like a 12-year-old kid obsessed with every sport, and just, I don't know. Then music came along and it was like, bam, just completely changed. And that I was like, this is what I want to do. I just want to do music. So it was like that. It's been like that ever since. And yeah, I guess I never really, never like I, did odd jobs and things like that, but I never. It was always to be able to do music,
mhm.
and sort of moving around to where I could do music. It was never. That was always the prime goal, I guess. Yeah, the main thing.
Yeah. So basically, everything you did was to support or do music.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, even I guess I traveled a bit. Like I spent a while in Italy. That's where I first started gigging. Like so after Fiji, I came back to Australia and saved up a bit of money just working. And then I was like, okay, I need to be gigging, and I was very like I could write little silly songs and sing to my friends, but I was so shy singing in front of crowds or strangers. And even my family, I was shy. As soon as it was like the spotlight was on me, I was like, ugh. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to get over that. So I managed to, through a friend who had worked in a ski resort, or his older brother had worked in a ski resort in Italy, as a barman. He said, oh, you should try these guys. They had live music there. And I got in touch with them and told them I was a really good musician. I lied. I was telling them, they're like, we need someone who plays pubs all the time. I'm like, yeah, I play pubs heaps. I was
Yeah.
like, that's what I do. And I got this 6-month residency playing 6 nights a week. And I was like 18, just turned up, and I was like, ciao. I couldn't speak Italian. I told them I could speak Italian as well.
Oh,
And they were really nice, and they kind of got it straight away that I couldn't speak Italian, and also got it that I wasn't this amazing, I don't know, performer, but I sort of was able to cut my teeth doing that and learn how to sing to people and how to play an audience and how to keep an audience. I learned a lot of little tricks by doing that, like a lot of skills by just doing it every night. And like, yeah, just getting over that fear, just that repetition of just doing it I think it still took a couple of years. I think the first couple of years of playing, if I had gigs, especially when it was just me, like solo, but even with bands, I played guitar in bands, occasionally still do, but my hands would shake so much the first song or two. Like I had uncontrollable shaking hands. I could only do like a 1-chord song, or like two. I'd have to be like keep it basic, get comfortable, then you can go for it. But just learning, doing that over and over again, and learning. Okay, nothing went wrong. Like people didn't throw food at me or something.
Yeah.
No one booed, no one laughed at me. It's like, okay, it wasn't that bad, and just eventually getting comfortable.
Yeah.
That was my process, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people underestimate performing. They think it's easy just to stand on stage, play a few chords on the guitar, and start singing. When once that spotlight is just on you, I like playing more in bands rather than just me. Because I think with bands it's just so much more fun. But when it's just me and a guitar, gosh, I can totally feel that, because my hands will shake so much as well. Like it'll be just like, oh, I was trying so hard to like calm myself, but for some reason my hands are just shaking, and that's like the worst thing that can happen to you when you're like on there with your guitar.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like crippling fear, but like it went away. I guess it took a couple of years and then it went away, but it's crazy. I've just got back from doing a big support tour. Like we've got tours happening in Australia, and I've been lucky. One of my mates is doing really well, and I keep getting the call up to be support and playing in his sort of as his lead guitarist as well. So we do 2 shows a day. So I'm sort of playing 4 sets a day, 5 shows a week kind of thing. So playing 10 shows a week for a while. And just, I was thinking about the other day, I was like, I'm just getting up there like it's doing it in my sleep. But once upon a time, I'd be like freaking out, like losing sleep for weeks, thinking about that gig that's like in 4 weeks time, be like, oh, what's my set list and all this. And it's crazy how that you just get so comfortable on a stage or with a microphone and all that stuff, and just I don't take a set list up anymore. I just get up there and wing it, and or just what's going to happen. Like okay, that's where this song comes in. If that's not happening, then I'm going to play something there to make that happen, and then that's how you finish. And you sort of it's crazy the process, but it doesn't happen like I think people think you can just jump up and it takes a lot of doing it and getting so practice with it, I guess.
I think it's totally with anything. I mean, I hope this is what the podcast does for people, is so they realize it's not just listen to an album or just perform on stage. Like what I'm trying to do here is like show the journey behind it, show what work actually goes into making an album, creating a single, performing on stage, because they think it's just easy because we make it look easy, right? Especially the parts that are like shown on the media and on TV and all that stuff. It just they show all the best parts, but they don't show like the weeks, sometimes months of rehearsals for that one performance, and like how many takes you did for the single in the studio. That they don't show that, right? So I mean, that's why I hope this podcast can kind of help with that, so you can actually see behind the scenes and show it takes a couple of years for you to be comfortable on stage.
Oh man, it's been, well, for me it's been like a decade of like just playing and playing and playing. But it's I think it's like that. What everyone sees is like the tip of the iceberg. Like you don't see those like hours and hours someone's been sitting at home just practicing and just going over songs, learning the words, just writing the song, getting it right until it feels right. And it's just, there's so much. Yes, it's crazy. It's like you get this like 3-minute sort of window to show them, show people sometimes years worth of preparing and everything. You got this one little like, here you go, like
exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like that little snippet. You just get to see like 3 minutes of like a year-long process, or years sometimes, depending on the journey. But like so let's talk about your stories and your journeys behind those songs, because I mean, I love the stories behind. I'm like, okay, it's a great song. I love the song, but I want to know how it happened. I want to know, the journey behind it, the effort that went into it. So right now you have your very new single out, Playing with Fire.
Yeah.
That just came out recently.
Yeah, that came out 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4. I've got a lot of songs coming out this year. So I'm releasing something every 6 weeks. So that was 3 weeks, because I think it's 3 weeks to the next one, or 2 weeks to the next. 2 weeks. So that's 4 weeks ago.
So let's start with that one. Just take us behind the scenes, like from beginning to end. Like, what does it take for just that one single to come out? What's the work that has to go into that?
All right. So that song, I wrote and recorded that sort of within a few hours. That was just like, and it was a couple of years ago. So like I was going through, like, it sounds like it's like a cheating song or an affair song. It's not. It's sort of like, I guess it was me feeling guilty. Like I had been through a breakup and had still had feelings for someone. I was hanging out with a friend, and just the thought of like that even made me feel guilty. And I was like, why am I feeling guilty for just hanging out with a friend? And that's where the whole thing. And I was at my friend's place, making a fire, and I was like, this is a really good idea for a song. And like Playing with Fire, because it's like, it's kind of that whole analogy, and the next day I just I kind of had this. I've been listening to a lot of James Taylor and Paul McCartney's solo stuff, like kind of 70s singer-songwriters, and I just wanted to like make this song that sounded like real, or I don't know, all live kind of instruments. And I did that. I kind of wrote the words very quickly. There's not many words. It kind of repeats a lot of lines, and recorded it like all in very quickly. And I'd usually use a lot of electronic stuff with recording with Logic and things, but I just, for that one, I was like, I want it to be as real as possible. So I was like smacking my guitar case like with a fist, just whacking that to get a kick sound.
That's
and
so cool.
a mic behind the guitar case to get this like doof. But it was very quick. I recorded it, and then that was it. I kind of forgot about it, and just I'd every now and then show friends or whatever. I never was playing it live. And then I don't know, I had a chat with someone, Garrett Cato. Have you heard of Garrett Cato? He's a musician producer from Byron Bay. He's doing some insane stuff at the moment. He's a busker. He was a busker around here, so I'm a busker, and kind of all the buskers meet each other. But he's killing it, and he sort of did this thing where he was just putting out a song every 6 to 8 weeks for like a year or 2 years. And I was asking, I was like, was that what sort of made things happen for you?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, no one cares what you put out. And I'd always thought this Playing with Fire song was kind of, people would be like, oh, it's so different to anything else you've done. Like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know. That's why I was scared of putting it out. But then I was like, oh, what? I'm just going to put it out. No one cares. So I put it out, and no one threw food at me or anything. So yeah, and it was just like, it was a song I kind of wrote, recorded, forgot about for 2 years, and then decided to release. I don't know, because I was like, why not? It's sitting there. Yeah. And I've got other songs, older songs that this next one I'm releasing after, like in 2 weeks, is like maybe 4 years old. And again, recorded like 4 years ago. And it's just, I have a lot of songs that I'll record, finish, and just shelf, because I'm like, oh, it's not really me. It sounds like another project or something that I wanted to just do for fun. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, it's still me. I think this guy, Garrett, he said that, he's like, whatever you put out is you. Like, if you've written it, it's you. And if people don't like it, it's not going to stop them from listening to the song that they do like. It's not going to, not going to write you off forever just because you've released one song that didn't float their boat. But that one song may be what other people who don't like ukulele might be like, oh, that's cool. So it just gives you a chance to reach people in different ways. So so that was, Playing with Fire was just sort of kind of random. Sort of made the decision to release it very quickly, and just found it, got it sort of touched up. My brother, he lives in Cairns, which is like north of Australia, tropical North Queensland. Yeah. He mixes and masters my stuff and other people's stuff, and I just sent it to him to sort of touch up, and bam, done. It's practical. Yeah. So that was that one. I guess it wasn't a lot of thought, I guess, put into it, but I kind of liked that, how it was just easy. It was just like really quick I sort of was recording it as I wrote it, really. I was like, I love the guitar bit, and I think I had the whistle solo before I had any words. That was like, the song was like the whistle. That was it. And then kind of was like, okay, this is a cool bit. And I was like, maybe it was going to just be that whistle a lot. And I was like, okay, too much whistle. It can be like the whistle solo, and then just I like had that whole, the fire, Playing with Fire. Was like, it sounds like it's naughty. It's like a naughty analogy, and I don't know. I hope people aren't thinking I'm a naughty dude because I've released.
No. I think that's really good advice, because that's something that I've been hearing from a couple of artists, where they're like, you know what, I don't want it to sound too different, but it's still me, right? And so it's like that. I think that's really good advice. It's like, you wrote it, right? You made it, so it's you. Why wouldn't it not be you? Yeah. And even if if artists bring out an entire album that have like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 tracks on there, you're not gonna love every single song on there.
Yeah.
There's rarely an album where I'm like, every single song I love, right? But you still, even if there's just one or two songs on there, you still
Yeah.
listen to them.
Yeah. I'm sort of like, I always love finding the gems like in those albums that everyone else doesn't really like. And
Yeah,
especially bands that I'm not the biggest fan of or artists, it's like occasionally I find this song that really hits me. It's like, wow. And that wasn't, it was like a, you know, track 13 or something
yeah,
like this. And you're like, that's the one for me. That's what got me. And I think it's kind of cool that I think it's great when artists like experiment and have new sounds. And it's like,
yeah.
sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, but it's like, it's cool. It's art, you know, it's like, it's, you don't want to hear the same thing over and over again. I think that's kind of, it's cool to hear people evolving or just trying something different. And it doesn't always work. I know there's been some people who've like released things and everyone's going, what have they done? And
Yeah,
it's like back to like their other things. Like, okay, but it's like, hey, they tried.
yeah,
And it's cool. Yeah.
yeah. Why not? Taylor Swift went from like country to pop to folk to,
Yeah.
she's doing all different kinds of stuff. And
Yeah.
the songwriting is always the same. The production just changes. She's like the best example of doing things differently, not doing the same thing over and over and again. And she's super successful with it.
Yeah,
So,
everyone loves it. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of artists that have like Tame Impala. I love Tame Impala. They're an Aussie band, and they're mega now. You know, and they're the first time I saw them, Kevin was drumming and singing. It was like a psychedelic blues trio. It was 3-piece drums, guitar, bass.
yeah.
And it was like, I know it was a 200 cap room and it was half full. And it was like, and it was just psychedelic jams. It was like every song would just be like a little bit of singing with a lot of reverb. You couldn't understand a word he was saying and just jams. And it's like now they're like this hit making like pop disco machine. And it's like, it's crazy. That's been a really cool, like seeing how it's evolved to like be like become more cleaner rock, pop rock, then like a bit of synthesizer. And then like, hang on, they've ditched the drums. It's all like, it's full on electro now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool. I think there's something in there for everyone. If you like, if an artist is doing that, like, yeah, Taylor Swift doing that, it's like, it's great. Like country fans like her, like pop people like her, like, why not?
Why not? Like, just take them on the journey. Like, it's, I think we get so caught up and so scared in other people's opinions.
Yeah.
And like, I forgot the guy's names, but he's like, at the end of the day, nobody really cares. So just put it out.
And it's right. No one cares. And like it gets so caught. I get so caught up in my head thinking, what are people going to think? At the end of the day, it's like, who cares what people think? And it doesn't matter if they like it or don't like it. If they like it, great. If they don't, it's like, well, I like it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing. If you're happy with it as an artist, like if you're like, yeah, I like this song that I made and I want to put it out there, that's it. And the rest, it doesn't matter what happens after that. I think if you're proud of what you've done, it's like, cool.
Take it or leave it. Yeah. The same with, because like you said, like Playing with Fire is so different, and then you have like Salt, which I thought was like it suits your voice really well, because you kind of go like these deep, and then you kind of go up. It sounds so cool, because I couldn't do it because I can't go that deep, but like it's really good for your voice. You like literally, that song is probably the most suited for your voice, just because you're like really using it. How did that happen?
That was the low stuff. I guess I found I had a low voice, like a baritone, like when I was I don't know, teenager. But I guess when I was in Italy with that gig, I was playing, people would ask for Johnny Cash, and I was like, oh, I can actually do a thing here with Johnny Cash, like singing low, and actually ended up in an Elvis tribute. Like that was actually my first like professional gig, being like, wow, you can make good money playing guitar. And then I had this like, it was like an Elvis show touring around Europe, and and then there was a Johnny Cash like interlude in the middle where I would sing like 2 songs as Johnny Cash, like slick the hair back. I had to get my hair like wet and greasy and like,
get the curls under control.
But it's like, I remember being like, wow, there's like crazy money in singing Johnny Cash songs. It was just like this, like, I don't know, I didn't know anything about Johnny Cash. I knew one song, and then I had to learn another song, and that was it. and then I got really into him after that. But I guess it also, like, I just assumed everyone could sing it, and then they've been around musos are like kind of like, wow, if when you sing low, I was like, okay, it's kind of like a cool little party trick, I guess. And so that salt was like, yeah, like indulging my like, I got a lot of my muso friends make fun of me about it, about how low I sing in that song. But like,
Really,
yeah,
I thought it was the fun part about it. I'm like, wow, you go for it.
yeah. I don't know, it's like, it's fun, like, oh, it's all love. But yeah, it's that one was like, I had the chorus for that song, salt on your skin where you been, that thing. I had that for so long, and like I'd just be busking that, and just like I'd be playing like, yeah, like that took like, maybe that song took like a year to write, because I didn't ever sit down and be like, I'm gonna write this. I just had that thing in my head. One day I was at the beach and I was busking later, and I just had this like dun 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 dun, and I just had that, and I just used to play. I used to be busking, just singing that chorus. People are like, oh, what's that? And like, it's a new song, and it's, that's it. And I just like instrumental those chords, and then like drop into the chorus again, and then yeah, it eventually I kind of like made words and structured the song by watching like buskings. For like writing songs and like workshopping songs, busking is like, I don't think there's anything better, because people don't have to be there, and they're usually on the way to somewhere. So like in Byron Bay, there's a massive busking scene, and the busking talent, like the street musicians, are better than most of the musicians you see in the cities around Australia. And like, it's crazy. It's really hard to explain, and I guess unless you've been there, it's like you get hundreds of people watching a busker. And you got any night of the week, we can do it, and you can get these bigger crowds than you'll get in the venue. It's insane. And so it's a great way to like, it's brutal as well, because people leave if they're not enjoying it, because there's a better busker down the road or something else happening. And you're like, Tone I was busking, you know, she was sort of she had dance monkey. So I'd be playing the salt, and there'd be, oh, I see it thing happening down the road, and you'd be like, you've got to keep people there. And so I'd be working this song and being like, okay, that didn't work, because half the crowd just walked away as soon as I dropped into that chord change in like a verse, and then like, oh, that people like the whistle thing, maybe I should do more of the whistle thing. And that song I just kind of just wrote by just working busking, and I always played it on the guitar. Then that was my like ukulele challenge, to be like, I want to write a sad ukulele song. And I was like, well, I already got this song. And I was like, I can kind of do it on the ukulele. And I was just like, I'm going to record it on Yuki and see how it, and I think it just didn't sound as cool. Like, it sounded cool live playing on the acoustic guitar. And then when I was recording it, just didn't have the same feel. And then bought the Yuki, and I was like, yeah, that's like, you got the kick and bass, and you got this like high, and it has that sort of just, I don't know, it felt right for me when I recorded it. But yeah, I don't really know where the song came from. It was just like, I just had it in that tune in my head, that chorus, and it just sat there for a long time until I wanted to make it sort of like, I guess, ocean themed.
Yeah.
So like, the ocean, you know, water side and all this stuff, and dive in with me. It's all kind of, but yeah, I feel like I wrote like a verse, and it was like maybe another 3 or 4 months, and then maybe wrote another verse, and then like another 3 or 4 months, wrote a bridge for it. Yeah, I think I used to just sing like the chorus and one verse, chorus, the same verse again, and chorus, same verse, thinking maybe people don't notice that I'm singing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, so that, it's funny. Yeah, that one was it was like an interesting journey, I guess, creating it, like fun.
I think that is a way more realistic approach, because again, the expectations are, oh, I need, like, if I'm not good at it right away, like if my first song that I write isn't like really good, then I'm not talented, therefore music and songwriting isn't for me. When really the majority of the time it is this, like, it doesn't, sometimes it does come to you. It just like falls into your lap, you write it, and the song is done in like 15 minutes. That's happened to me too. But the majority of the time, you know, it is a longer process. It does take longer. Sometimes you just have the chorus and it's kind of like a puzzle that you need to piece together. You're like, okay, you know, I'm not feeling the verse, or the bridge part is weird, or should I have a whistle thing there, or should I, you know, instrumental stuff, like just instrumental section or and stuff like that. And I think that's the smartest way of actually doing it, is, you know, just testing it out on the crowd, like busking.
Yeah,
That's super smart.
it's cool because I was like, so I've been living here for a few years in Byron, and before that, I didn't know about the busking scene. I'd hear about it and be like, okay, that sounds crazy, but I just didn't think about it. And so I'd sit there, you know, at home and write a song and think, okay, I've got this gig in 2 weeks. I'll be able to sing this new song there, and it'd be amazing in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, and then you put it in front of people and they're just like, and you're like, oh, it sounds completely different on stage, and it's like not as good as I thought it was. And it was thought there was going to be this epic moment. It just didn't happen. But well, I guess busking is like, you sort of get to like build your song, because you sort of, yeah, just out there just playing, you play whatever you want. And I stay out there for a few hours and just, you play the same songs and okay, that didn't work like that. You kind of like workshop them, like work, I guess, to what feels really nice, instead of being like, okay, here's my brand new song, I'm playing it on stage for the first time. So I can, yeah, I guess the other way is like just creating a song, performing, which I guess I would never do that if in like a, you know, booked gig situation, like a ticketed gig, be like, yeah, here's this chorus I'm working on.
yeah, exactly. You get no.
Yeah, so it's, yeah, we're lucky here to have that sort of that scene, to be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, tell me what you think. I just
read.
Yeah,
it's like you've got, it's like I think it's with ticketed things, it's like you got to put a show on. Like people are there, they're paying money. You got to, it's like you got to put a bit of thought into it. Like, well, busking is like, no one cares. I'm just here on the beach or on the street. I'm just doing my thing. They can stop if they want to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I can play the same song 10 times and no one cares. It's like, it's, yeah, like there's no, yeah, I guess it's no pressure. But on the other side, that it is like, this is going back to what about the learning to perform in front of people. It's actually terrifying, because you're like standing there, and if people aren't stopping, it's like soul destroying. It's like no one's stopping. Well, if you're in a gig, there's going to be people there at least, I guess. While on the street, it's like, it's always like, are people going to come and listen, or is there someone else they're going to go and listen to, and I'm going to be stuck here playing on my own? Or like, it's really like exhilarating. And then like when people walk away, you're like, oh no, what have I done? It's like, yeah, it's that's the other side, where it's like riding these like, yeah, weird emotions every night. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah, it's, you know, it's, everything has its pros and cons, you know, I think. But I think it's there's this girl interviewed, Millie Milner. She said she's been busking like every weekend, and she's super young, and she said that practicing with her crowd is 10 times more efficient than practicing on your own, or something like that.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like with these shows I've been doing with Jack Botts, he's a mate of mine who busked around here. He's doing really well, and there's a few of us that all bust together, all really good mates, and we've been sort of the supports on this tour, but we become his band, I guess, later on. But I do a lot of harmony work with Jack, and I play lead guitar for the whole set, and it's kind of this, people be like, oh, how much, like, you guys must be practicing a lot, and like, do you live together and all this? And they're like, we've never had a rehearsal. Yeah. Like we've never sat down and be like, what are you singing? What's your guitar part? We've never done that. And it's like, wow, crazy. We just did like 40 sold out shows around Australia, and it was like, never had a rehearsal. It's just busking, and you just learn the songs inside out. You're playing them every night a few times, and it's the best rehearsal, because you're like rehearsing in front of a live audience that's like, they don't have to be there, they can go anywhere. And it's like constantly changing. So like, new people come in halfway through the song, and it's like, oh wow, you got to lift your game now because there's new people here. And it's just this crazy, like, hard to describe thing. But yeah, busking's for like a developing artist is amazing, or any artist at any stage of their career is amazing. I think it's like a useful tool.
Oh, this one's me. I want to go busking now. It's not really that common, like here in Germany, that nobody, you get a couple like every now and again, but not really.
Yeah, there's actually whereabouts in Germany are you?
Bavaria, like Berchtesgaden. I'm like super south.
Okay, because there's a few buskers in Byron that have, like, you know, before COVID times, are going to Berlin for 3 or 4 months.
Berlin is great. If you're like in a huge city, then like totally, like Berlin and Munich and like Vienna over in Austria and stuff like that. Yeah, then totally. But like, it's just a small town, and you rarely see anyone. So
well, I guess
still just do it.
I didn't really see any busker. I never tried it until I moved to Byron. So a few years ago, and it's like I just didn't. And I was, you know, working as a muso and playing everywhere, and thought I knew everything about music from Australia. And I was like, wow, this is mind blowing. Like, such a crazy thing to have, to be able to do whenever you want to do it. So
just do it. I'm just gonna, once we're allowed to go and play and stuff, then I should try that out.
Good. It's crazy. It's so scary, but so fun at the same time.
And
I think the like cool thing with busking is like I've never regretted busking. There's been like some days I've gone about, I don't know if I want it, I'm so tired, or it's really wet, and I like those other really cool people at busking today, and like Ziggy Alberts is on that corner, Tones and I's down there. No one's going to listen to me. I've never ever regretted it. It's always been awesome. And like, I've usually busk every day of the week until COVID, really. So it's one of those things. It's like you always win, you always gain something out of it. Like you always learn something, or you improve something, or you be like, okay, that little bit worked in that song, or like you figure out something, or just someone gives you a compliment, you're like, cool. Like, you know, says like, I really like that song, and it's like a song that you didn't think was a good song, or just things like that. It's always something good out of it.
Cool. For my last question, I like to ask this because the answers are always very different. But what makes a good song for you?
I like something that you like, that I can relate to and feel. I guess like things that make you feel something, that paint a picture. I don't know, like not necessarily catchy. Catchy is great. I like catchy songs, but like songs that there's songs that you listen to and it's like, the lyrics are making this picture in your head about what it's about, or this painting this scene. Or you've realized what you're doing, and you're like, oh, I'm just in this weird daydream right now. Like, out of it. Like songs that do that to me, where you don't see it coming, it just takes you somewhere, or makes you feel this thing. And I don't know. It can be any genre. I guess that's not a good way to say what's a good song, but like songs that make you feel something or take you somewhere.
That's a good answer, because I mean, I don't think that a good song is specific to a genre. Like if it's a good song, it's a good song. Like it could, whatever production you throw on it, doesn't really matter.
I think that's a great way to look at it. Like a good song will sound good in most genres. I think there's been a lot of like, you know, since forever, like people covering into different genres, making like a metal song sound amazing as a folk song, and vice versa. And like, I think that's like a good song it's translatable to any genre. Or if you look at Disney songs, they're like translatable to any language, and they're still a good song.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I saw someone, this is like years and years back, but someone like covered Adele, but they were a rock band. And I'm like, that's so cool. They like, I would have never thought to take an Adele song and like that was so cool. I think it was like one of my favorite covers ever, because I'm like, I did not, because I'm like, where do I know this song? It like took me a while to like figure out what song it was because it sounded so differently. But I'm just like, yeah, that sounds good. I just can't. I know it from somewhere. I just can't put my finger on it. And then like, and I'm just like, gosh, you're so dumb. It's Adele. And like, they did such a good, job covering the song, like really making it their own. I think that's
that's it. When people like own a song, like take a cover and they put so much into it, like feeling their own sound, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's cool when you hear like a cover that's like so original in its own right, I guess. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that just kind of totally surprised me, but like in the best way. I love when something kind of catches me off guard, when it doesn't, like when you have certain expectations and then something completely different happens, like the song takes you in a completely different direction. You're just like, whoa, this is cool. Like,
I think I know that there's probably a formula for what makes a good song. If you look at like verse to chorus, all that stuff, there probably is something on Google about it. But I think it's like things that make you take you somewhere, or you lose yourself in it for a second. You're like, what? Mm-hmm. And then like what is the song? Oh, it's an Adele song, or like just for me, like I'm in some weird place for 30 seconds and I'm like, what?
What just happened? Yeah. It's really cool. I just love hearing different answers, because like everyone has a different opinion about it, and but it kind of always has the same core, so it's just interesting. But yeah, so thank you so much for chatting with me, and kind of letting me look behind the scenes, and so that was it's just because your songs are just so, I think they're just so relaxed but kind of fun. It doesn't matter what production is on there. I think at the core they are all you. I didn't listen to like Cloud and then listen to Playing with Fire and was just like, whoa, this is like
That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah.
Like, that's Ben. Like, it's just might have like a different flair to it, but like the core is just always the same. For me personally, I wasn't like, whoa, what is happening? This does not sound like.
That's good. Like, I always feel bad. Like recently, I felt bad when I'm recording songs and they don't have an ukulele in them. I think feel like I'm letting a part of me down. I think that's been like something I've been doing for a while. There's always been there, and it's like, oh, that song doesn't have a ukulele, but it's okay. Like, it's like, oh, maybe the next one, or maybe the one after that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you kind of identify yourself with that, because you just, for the longest time, I always had like beanies on all the time.
Yeah.
And for years and years and years, and that's how people knew me, was like just me with a beanie on. So one time I didn't have one on, they're like, who's this new girl? I'm like, it's still me. Like, so then when I'm just like, you know what? That was like my identity, was like me and a beanie. That's like, who am I without the beanie? Like, kind of thing. And I think that's the same thing when we, as an artist, we kind of hold on, like, I'm the ukulele guy, or I'm the, the looper guy, or the, and we kind of identify ourselves with this one thing, and we think we'll let go, then who am I without this thing, or how are people gonna see me as?
That's a really good thing to think about. It's still you, and it's like, I guess if people are sort of calling you the beanie girl or the ukulele, it's like they don't like, well, that's not really you. It's like, you are you. With or without the beanie. There you go. That's cool.
It's a very one-dimensional way of looking at it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna lose, because I was just like, no, I'm not the beanie girl. I can be whatever girl I want to be. So I lost the beanie. I still love wearing it every once in a while, but like, I'm not the beanie girl anymore. And that is like, I'm so much more than just the beanie, right? But for some reason, like as artists, we kind of hold that. We're just like, I can't, who am I when I like go? Like, I cannot, and there's so many, and I see that a lot, that artists don't want to be just this one thing. They don't just
Yeah.
want to be this one, known for this one thing that they're doing, because we are, as human beings, we're not one dimensional. We have so many different you can go, and so your personality is not just music. You can also be, you know, into sports. You can also be in your this family guy, you know, whatever you want to be. Like it's not just one thing.
Yeah, I know we're just wrapping this up, but it's, I
Yeah.
feel that's the tip of the iceberg. I've got another project, like completely different name, which I don't really talk about with other, you know, because it's so different. It's like psychedelic rock that I record and sing, and you know, it's like, but it's I use that to be like, okay, well, it's definitely not Ben Camden, so it's this other thing, you know. Sometimes songs just aren't that, and then vice versa. It's like that's not going to work as like ukulele Busking dude on the beach. So that's this like, and it's like having those. I think having like outlets like that has helped me like be like, okay, it's okay to sort of indulge my like rock and roll. I love electric guitars and noise and pedals and all that stuff, and it's like cool. I can do that, but not freak out the people that love like the ukulele thing. You know, so I think it's like it's always helped me. Like sometimes I hit a bit of a roadblock in like, especially I was finding with uke last year. Everyone was starting to get around the ukulele thing and be like, oh, you're the uke guy.
Yeah.
And then I was starting to be like, I'm getting like uke writer's block. Like I was like, I can't think of it. I can't write any more uke songs. Like I'm sort of not sick of the uke, but it's like, I was just trying to write uke songs and I couldn't. And then just sort of got into the psychedelic rock stuff where there's an electric guitar and it's like, bam, floodgates open. Just all these ideas and songs coming out. It's like, yeah, it's still me, but it's like, it's it's just, it's me with a different instrument. I don't know. But it's still me. Yeah, so I think and I'll come back to the uke, I'm sure. Like, I've already got a couple of ideas on it now, but I think just having different avenues and allowing yourself to be like, okay, it's okay to do something different or do a different genre, try a different sound. It's still going to be you. Yeah. It's still your voice, you know, or it's your writing, it's your guitar playing, everyone has their own sound or signature. And I think, like, you look at the Beatles, how different it is from the first album to the last album. But every song sounds like a Beatles song. Yeah. And they were changing their sound after every album, you know, like adding orchestras, sitars, and exactly. You know, and it was like everything was changing, and it's like it's still them. It's tied together by like their songwriting style and just their voices, and it's I think that's, everyone gets so caught up thinking like, ooh, like I do it too. Like I'm gonna sound so weird, and everyone's gonna think I'm changed, and it's not. Like it's still you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's like really good advice. I'm just gonna end it there on a high. Where can people find you? Where can people check you out on social media, on Spotify, and all that good stuff? Yep, Instagram is Ben Camden Music. That's my handle. Same on Facebook, Ben Camden Music, and then Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you like to use. I think, or Deezer, or all the other ones, whatever they are. My music stuff on all of those, and YouTube. I do some things on YouTube every now and then, and SoundCloud as well. I like SoundCloud. I think that's a cool listening platform, and I guess Ben Camden. You just type it in, and maybe I come up. I think there's another Ben Camden in England. But, oh no. I don't think he's done anything. As when I was first starting out, I was always annoying me. There would be like his page would come up, but I think he's stopped, or maybe he's changed his name. I don't know. I think he got sick of me popping up, maybe. So I think maybe I'm the only one now. I'll link everything up down below, so we'll get the right Ben Camden. No confusions there, so everything will be linked up. I'll make sure that your Instagram, your Spotify, iTunes, whatever, Facebook is linked up down below. And thank you so much for being on here, for taking the time, for putting out great music. I'm a fan. Whatever you're doing, just do it. Just do it. I love it. I love it so far. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks for having me. It's really nice to chat and meet you.
Thank you for listening to the Musician's Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Alise Koa. I hope you got to learn something new about producing or songwriting or mental health when it comes to making music, the fears that most musicians have when making music. So everything that's behind the scenes, behind making music, you will learn it here, because I am basically talking to anyone that makes music all around the world. So I have a great privilege to learn all of that, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So follow this podcast if you enjoyed what you heard today, and go and share it with somebody that you think could enjoy this episode as well, benefit and learn from it. And as always, there's more information at alisekoa.com/podcast. Talk to you soon. Bye.
But there is a place I can't tell you where for sure. Falling asleep to rain upon the roof. All of my dreams begin and end with you. All of my dreams